Women are begging men to date them. A lot of these women are feeling the effects of what they put out there. They really are. They're feeling the effects of their modern nature. Let's put it like that. They're feeling the effects of the aftermath. These are the consequences that I talk about of them putting this independent boss chick, baby, y'all dussies. I don't need a man. I make my own money. I could take care of myself. I got my own house. I got my own car. I got my own money. I take care of my own kids. I don't need you, but I want you. So these are the effects of that type of mentality. And they're not really liking it because for some reason, specifically in our community, and once again, it's not only in our community, this is happening in all communities, but we are always the ones who are more vocal about it. So we're going to talk about it. And so a lot of these women are feeling the effects of what they have created and they don't like it. And because there is no accountability, a lot of these women, they're feeling the fire. They're realizing that men are not approaching. Men are really kind of going their own way in most cases. Men are not running behind these women the way they used to. They've really already responded to the nature of these modern women, and these women don't like it. So now they're questioning, why aren't the men coming to this? And why aren't the men doing this? There's events set up for women and men to come together, and the men are not really showing up in droves. And the men and they just don't want no parts of these modern women. And I don't care how much you try to shame them, how sassy you say they are. It doesn't matter how much you try to shame them and try to put them down. It's just not happening. You know what I mean? And I agree with some people because I see what people say, and I see what's going on out in these streets and how people are saying this conversation is getting tired and it's getting old. It's been tired, to be honest with you. This conversation has been tired. It's been old. It's always going to be stale and old because the modern women don't want to listen. And they're the ones that are constantly showing us more and more and showing men and society more and more how ratchet they are, how delusional they are. And they keep the conversation going because they're the ones constantly complaining about what men aren't doing, how men aren't showing up here, how men aren't doing this, why it's the problem is the men. And it just clearly shows that they're the delusional ones and they don't want to make any changes. So this is why really the conversation is constantly happening, because we constantly see delusional activity from the modern hyena sisterhood, child. We constantly see the behavior, the nature, and we see that men are backing away. Men are backing up and they're still complaining no matter what you do. If the man is good, he's too boring, he's this, he's that. If he's not good, oh, you're complaining about that. But these women are constantly out here becoming single mothers. So they're still screwing somebody, right? So you still fooling with them, even though they're this and they're that. You still find some kind of way to hook up with them and make a baby for sure. Because the way they're talking and complaining, you would think that we would have less, baby making, we would have less single mother. But that still seems to be out here happening. People are still getting pregnant. They're still making babies with somebody, but you're still complaining about the men ain't this and they don't level up and this and that. And you're not looking at yourself. This is not the time, in my opinion, to continue with this single woman stance. Like, it's so great to be a single mother in this day and age, how expensive things are, how crazy things are happening. I told y'all, I think we are in the Twilight Zone. I think we're in an alternate universe or something, because the ish is hitting the fan, and a lot of these women don't realize how detrimental it's going to be to a lot of these women who are claiming they're boss chicks. They don't need a man. You're out here by yourself. It's going to be a struggle. Men don't want to be your cleanup man. How many times are we going to say that? It behooves the women to realize this, that, hey, you're not invincible. Things happen. Look at these storms that are happening. One good storm could just take out everything that you own. And it's sad, but then it's going to be very hard to continue this idea that, oh, you got it all together. You don't need nobody. You can just do it by yourself. While we still see a bunch of these women out here complaining as single mothers and how hard it is and how difficult it is, and they have to do everything. As long as, and I said this before, as long as we have a group of women who really believe in this idea that a man is supposed to be this rich saint and they will not settle, then it's going to be a problem. We watch the Pop the Balloons, we watch Kendra G, we watch all of these shows, and it doesn't seem like they're really getting the message overall. So there are going to be consequences, and we're starting to see it. As much as a lot of these particular women don't want to accept the consequences, doesn't mean that they aren't there. You know what I'm saying? So at some point, you guys, it's definitely going to be a lost cause. And honestly, talking about it is just like beating a dead horse. You're never going to get any resolve. There are some women who get it, and the ones who get it, they have a better outcome. The ones who don't, they're still complaining. So this is going to still be complaining, and it is what it is. All we can do at some point is just watch the train wreck, because there's nothing you can really do to knock any sense into these people, because they believe what they believe. They believe that they can manifest this perfect man and this perfect relationship and all of these things, when we know that perfect relationships don't exist. And so we're starting to see more and more and more of these hyenas, is what we're going to call them, complaining about men, always complaining. You know what I mean? And it's getting crazier and crazier, and I see the craziness.